Okay, let's go through the procedure for operating in controlled airspace. Here's our example here. Columbus, Georgia, 2 runways, runway 6, runway 24, and then there's 3-1 and 1-3. We get a call from a client and he says, I need you to take some photographs of some real estate, and he gives us lat-long coordinates or perhaps a street address so we can look on a map, we know where it is. And we do a little investigation, we find out it's a couple miles, maybe 2 miles south of the airport. So I'm going to put a 2 here so I can remember. There's our 2 nautical miles south of the airport, south of CSG. CSG is Columbus. So we look at the sectional chart and we determine, yeah, it's controlled airspace. You can see it right there yourself. You've hopefully already figured it out. This is Class D airspace. Class D airspace. Class D airspace is, this is a crude diagram, not to scale, okay? Class D airspace encompasses everything, how far out? 4 nautical miles around the airport diameter. That's controlled airspace. How high does that airspace go? Or can we go underneath it perhaps, right? If it starts at 1,500 feet, we're only going to be at, let's just say it's photographs of real estate, so you're going to be less than 200 feet, so less than 200 feet. That's your altitude. No, Class D, remember here's a side view of it. There's the airport. It goes up to how high? Altitude? Yep, 2,500 feet above ground level. So it's 4 miles and up to 2,500 feet. That's all controlled airspace, controlled by, we looked at the chart supplement, US, and we get a frequency of the control tower frequency. So we realize we have an issue here. We're going to have to talk to control. You're going to have to talk to the control tower. We can try LANC. We can maybe get a waiver. Doesn't matter. We're still going to end up, because we're in controlled airspace, getting permission, direct permission from the tower. So okay, we drive down there. We're way the heck up here, right? So we have to drive all the way down to Columbus. We set up. It's probably a wise thing to. Let's see, 4 miles, that'd be 2 miles. You could probably set up outside this, but it doesn't matter. Wherever you set up, you get everything all set up, you get your drone all put together, you've got your handheld radio, hopefully you remember to have it charged, or batteries, whatever you need. So then you do the procedure. You know the frequency, you dial the frequency in there, you hold the microphone really close to your mouth, you call Columbus Tower, and you recall hopefully how you do that. You name the facility you're calling. Columbus Tower, Southern Crescent drone number 1, 2 miles south of the airport, request permission to operate 200 feet and below, and you could say, I'm going to do photographs. He doesn't really care about that. Requesting permission, that you're telling her what you want to do. You request permission to operate 200 feet and below in the vicinity, in this vicinity, 2 miles south. And then he'll either say, he'll probably say, traffic south of the airport. Say again, because he didn't understand what you said. That's understandable. We don't hear a lot from drone people calling up the tower. So he wants to make sure he's got his information right. So you repeat the whole thing again. He has a number of options now. He may say, if traffic permits and there's nobody, he knows that nobody else on the area, he might say, permission granted, remain on this frequency, monitor this frequency, something like that. He'll say, Southern Crescent drone number 1, this is Columbus Tower, permission granted, remain 2 miles south, monitor this frequency. And you call back and say, Columbus Tower, this is Southern Crescent drone number 1, understand, will comply, thank you, or something like that. So you start your operation. As you're starting the operation, you need to listen to him, make sure he doesn't have any other information about traffic, or he may say negative, unable at the present moment, call back in 20 minutes, or he may say call me on the ground on the telephone. He could do a number of things. Or he may just flat out refuse. If he's very busy, has a lot of traffic in the area, you know. But I think most of them are going to be pretty cooperative at that point because they're just happy to hear from you. Most people don't call them all. They just buy the drone, at, like I've said before, buy the drone at Walmart and just start flying until somebody comes out and stops them. So you're doing the responsible thing. You get to operate there. But now, as things are going on, you're doing your operation, you got your handheld radio somewhere really close so you can listen to what he's saying, because he may call traffic. And now here's where you sort of have to understand how traffic patterns work. We've talked about it before. You'll be knowing, you'll hear, it won't take you long before you figure out, hey, the way the wind is blowing, you know, they always try to land into the wind, that they're using runway 6. That's the active runway. And that's a good thing. If you know that, that's helpful, because you know that most traffic patterns are going to be to the left, so this is what people are going to be doing, some kind of pattern like this, if they're doing touch and goes. But even if they're going to enter, you know, in inbound traffic coming in, he's going to try to enter at that 45-degree angle that we've talked about before, the standard angle for entering a traffic pattern. If they're landing, you know, so they'll be staying away from you. This is good news. If the tower says to you, Southern Crescent drone, this is the tower, we have traffic midfield, downwind, runway 6. They're expecting you to know what that means. Well, since you know what this means, what 6 means, and you know that left-hand pattern means this, you'll be looking for the traffic over here, right? He's over here somewhere, you know, heading that way, of course, because he's coming around the pattern. Or if he says, Southern Crescent drone number 1, this is Columbus Tower, we got helicopter traffic coming in from the south. Now you're concerned, because he'll probably say something about altitude to the helicopter pilot. But south is down here, right? This is south. So that means this helicopter guy is coming up this way. He could be fairly low. Could be a concern. You'll be looking for him. Of course, all of these people, inbound traffic people, the helicopter guy, the tower's also going to be telling him, helicopter so-and-so inbound for landing, cleared into controlled airspace. Be advised, there's a drone 2 miles south of the airport, 200 feet and below. He's warning this guy. Still, we're the ones that have to give way. It doesn't matter whether he's been warned or not. Or this guy here that's on left downwind, he'll tell him too, there's a drone down there. That's why you want the tower to know where you are, and you want to be listening, and you want to tell him if things change. So that's basically the procedure. It's you know, it's all about listening and paying attention. We have all kinds of hindrances to effective communication because we have many people talking and a lot of squawking and squealing and people talking at the same time. The tower's talking, and then somebody will be, you know, 20 miles out here calling the tower up and asking for something, and then you'll try to answer, and then somebody else will be talking. So there's a lot of confusion going on. We just have to be patient when we speak over the radio clearly and loudly into the microphone. We don't need to shout, but we need to be clear, paced conversations, not rushed. Yeah, and if we were outside, it's not a likely scenario, but if we wanted to come and land in the airport, let's just change everything up here. Let me get the eraser. We're not here anymore. We are way the heck up here. I keep looking at make sure you're on the screen. We're over here. We're at 400 feet inbound, and we want to land, let's say, it's unlikely, but this is one of the kind of questions you might face on the written exam. You want to land here. So basically, the procedure is the same kind of communication. You say, who are you talking to? Columbus Tower, Southern Crescent drone number 1. Let's just say we're 10 miles out. You tell the tower, we're 10 miles northeast, right? This is east, this is north. 10 miles northeast, inbound to land at signature. It's an FBO, let's just see. That's not where it is, it's over here somewhere. But anyway, when adding a signature, permission to enter airspace. So who are you talking to? Who are you? Where are you? What you want to do? Then he can say something like, Southern Crescent drone number 1, this is Columbus Tower, yeah. Remain below 400 feet, cleared to land at signature. You know, he may say that. So you just come on in there if there's no traffic. Or he may say, roger that, remain east of the airport. We have traffic landing in the traffic pattern for runway 6. So you'd know that you're just trying to stay away from that. He'd be asking you to change your course to here and then come in to land. You know, there's all kinds of options. So you have to be able to listen carefully, and you know, those are one of the possibilities. But basically the procedure is the same. We look on the chart way before this operation happens. You'd have to do the research to find out what the frequencies are and what the controlled airspace looks like, and proceed accordingly.